Welcome back to the Marketing Made podcast, where we share real and relevant growth strategies specifically for style-led brands. I'm Madeline and I own an agency called Made, and today I'm your host. Well, I'm your host every week. Firstly, I'd love to say a massive thank you to everyone who is tuning in week on week. I love seeing the stats grow. But of course, I'm going to be one of those podcasts that asks, can you share it around? Can you like it? Can you subscribe to it? Because it will obviously help me grow. The Marketing Margaritas podcast that I used, we still are running that, took years to grow, and it's got a great audience. And I really want this podcast to be the same. So share it with e-com brand owners, share it with your team. And yeah, that would mean the world to me. But today I'm actually talking about a topic which is around post-click, and that is your landing page. What I'm seeing more and more in really all niches is this lack of analysis of the post-click situation. And we fixate on launching more creative, we fixate on the creative analysis, but the landing page is also so important for the results of your ads. So today, what I want to go through is what actually happens after the click and why does Meta care about it, firstly. And then a metric that we have built into our client dashboard, CPMr. I'm doing a lot of talking about this on TikTok right now, which tells you the true cost of reaching 1,000 new impressions. And then I'm going to go through some playbooks in terms of skincare brands versus your jewelry and fashion, and like how you can be testing different landing pages to improve your results. So let's just first dive into why the click is a promise. So psychologically, when someone taps your ad and they're saying, I want to buy it, they're saying, I want to keep going with this journey, essentially. So the ad, as we know, opens a story, a specific problem, a specific person, a specific, idea. And what we need to make sure we have is that the landing page follows on from that. If someone clicks an ad and it's the same message, same person, same feeling, momentum then carries forward and the conversation obviously has a chance. But if it doesn't, and they're like landing on a generic homepage, for example, or a generic collection page, then there's obviously this disconnect. Sometimes, I don't know if you've found this, that you'll land on a specific page and you'll be like, why am I here? You've got to go scrolling for what you found in the ad. It really becomes a confusion. And this ends up becoming a scaling problem, not just a conversion problem. Meta learns what actually happens after the click. So it's no longer just understanding your ads, it's actually scanning the entire journey. And every purchase obviously then teaches the algorithm who your buyer is, and they go hunting for more of those people. So when your destination converts the cold traffic that your ads were finding, Meta learns these new people buy, and it keeps expanding outwards to find more of those fresh audiences. But when your ad only, say, converts people who already knew your brand, because maybe like strangers will bounce off the page, then Meta learns that maybe this ad or this landing page only converts warm people. So it starts delivering the repeat to warm people. And it narrows towards your existing audiences, the account gets more expensive to grow, and pushing spend just pays more to reach the same people harder. So your ads are about finding new customers, but your landing page is then telling Meta not to bother. So it makes sense there how important your landing pages are as well. So I want to talk about CPMr, which is a custom metric that we are tracking at Made. It is CPM times frequency. And so CPM, if you're not aware what that is the cost to serve 1,000 impressions. The problem with CPM is that it counts everything. The same person seeing your ad, like the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, is counted as within the impression. So CPM tells you what attention costs, essentially. It tells you nothing about, like, what am I actually paying for growth? Whereas CPMr is the version that matters more. The cost to reach 1,000 new people, not not CPM, which is just the 1,000 impressions. It's 1,000 unique impressions. So when CPMr is low and it's stable day on day, week on week, your account is generally expanding. Every dollar is buying fresh eyes, and you will tend to see incremental growth off the platform. What you'll start seeing when your CPMr is climbing is that your spend starts getting folded back into people it's already reached, and that you'll start seeing spikes in other metrics on the platform, and then obviously your CPA will spike, incremental growth starts stalling. Now, why I'm talking about this in the episode is your landing page can actually move your CPMr. I mean, does that sound impossible? How can a page change what my impressions cost? So I'm going to go through it here. A congruent destination converts cold traffic. Converting cold traffic teaches Meta that strangers buy. When strangers buy, delivery keeps expanding into new pockets. Happily and cheaply. So your cost of reaching new people will stay low, and then obviously this has a whole effect on your business. So let's talk about the 2 layers of congruence. What makes a destination keep the promise? There's 2 layers, and most brands only ever think about the first one. So the first one is message congruence, and that's the obvious one. Whatever your ad has promised, it should appear literally on the page, ideally in the same words. If the ad said the breakout that shows up before a big event and the page opens with something completely different, I find that the thread is cut. Same claim, same language, same offer. The page should read like a sentence continuing on from the ad. So what we are doing more and more now in our agency is we're testing different landing page messaging based on, the angles and pillars that we are building within the agency or for that specific brand. So whatever the messaging of the ad is, we may have multiple landing pages running with maybe the same hook, the same angle. Really what creates this connection between when someone lands from our ad to our landing page. This kind of comes into the second layer, which is avatar congruence. So for example, you may talk about breakouts, etc., and then they'll go to a landing page that kind of talks about it as well. But maybe you are really talking about women who are in menopause, 45 plus. So you need to think about the ad spoke to that specific avatar, and think about then how your landing page can speak to that specific avatar. Okay, this is the avatar congruence. The same sort of avatar in your ads, same messaging, replicated onto your landing page. Remember that the destination just continues the message. It continues the person, okay? So let's take a skincare brand as an example. And we love working with skincare brands. I do a lot of different landing pages for them. Outside of, say, your product pages or your standard landing pages. So when we've got product pages, PDPs, where we will send traffic to. Then we have landing pages where we may do more storytelling. So on the landing pages, I'll go into those now, but you may have dedicated pages based on your persona or angle. You may have variants, even though your product is the same, of, the messaging, the pictures, the USP call-outs, the us versus them on there. Any of the objections that your avatar or your persona may have, you may have different landing pages for this. So let me walk you through an actual example that we did. We have a night cream that we advertise for a client, and we have 2 specific audiences that tend to buy it that we have found our messaging really works. We have 45 plus women who are going through menopause where their skin has significantly changed. So that 45 to 60 plus. Now, those types of audiences will have very different objections. The messaging that we're using or the problems, call outs are very, unique to the experiences that they're going through with menopause. The ingredients that they want or they care about are the ones that we're placing on there. Maybe the us versus them that we are comparing is very different to our other ones. And even the photography and reviews that we're using all align with those speaking about menopause and using the cream or visuals of them as well. So that makes perfect sense, a persona landing page. Compared to our 30-year-old audiences, they're all about prevention right now. So if they were to land on a landing page where the unique mechanisms or the messaging that we were talking about was all around the struggles with menopause or skin issues related to that audience, you can see that there would be this big disconnect. So with the 30-year-old audiences, what we're really talking about is prevention. They're seeing visuals of themselves. They're going through the routine of how to use this cream in order to prevent aging or dehydration or whatever it is. You can really see there's a big differentiation. And if you were to send both of those traffic, say, to a PDP page, maybe the conversion wouldn't be as good. Okay? So that's what we really need to be thinking about with our persona landing pages is what are our messaging angles and personas that we are aiming for each quarter, and how can we build destinations for them that when they land from an ad, it speaks truly to them. Now, the other ones you may have heard of, which are still doing quite well right now, is the listicle, which in skincare might be like 5 reasons why melatonin skin bar. Well, actually, let me give you the title I think we did for one. I think it was 5 reasons why women over 45 are loving melatonin skin balm. Okay? Or 5 reasons why your breakouts keep coming back even after using XYZ. Or 4 things your pigmentation is trying to tell you. But you get the idea. It's the 4 reasons why, 5 reasons why. You would have seen these a lot. And this one, it reads as content. It actually feels like a blog article. And people are getting educated either on why maybe their breakouts are coming back, why women are loving melatonin, why pigmentation does XYZ. Every point is really about the problem that the ad opened or the messaging that the ad opened. And then the product obviously arrives as the conclusion. So it doesn't really feel salesy or like a pitch. It feels like by the time they've come to the ad, they've really digested maybe all their objections or all their queries through the listicle, and the product is just there at the end, ready for them to buy. And again, like I said, these have been around for a really long time. They're not a new concept, but they work really well. And there's something that you can pump out once you have a format. Literally, these aren't many words. If you think about your 5 reasons, you'll have like 2 or 3 sentences under each. You can be testing and pumping out so many different variants of this specific listicle that it really opens up more cold traffic for you than just your ads alone. Now, the advertorial. These are harder to do right. I feel like listicles are a bit easier. You can really pump out, like I said, and test a lot of them, and they're quite easy to find one that works. And advertorial are the natural home for objection-led ads, in my opinion. Like the I've tried everything, and then there may be like a story, or maybe you'll do an advertorial from an authoritative figure, and they'll land on a page where it's, again, really high education as well. But these can work really well as another option in your ad strategy. These, like I mentioned, have a lot of copy. They're a very deeper analysis, either storytelling or authoritative figures. And if done correctly, again, you really need to match it still to your persona, but they can unlock a lot of conversions. So this would be for like skincare and wellness, where you really need to overcome objections, the specific personas or the specific angles as to why people buy your product. And you then can create persona landing pages, you can create listicles, and then you can obviously create advertorials for each avatar, which, as mentioned, opens up, because Meta is scanning new audiences. You give it ads, you give it landing pages, it will serve the right one to the right person based on what it believes someone will convert from. But you're probably thinking, okay, we speak about fashion and jewelry on this podcast. How do you do listicles and advertorials for them? I get it. This is different. With fashion and jewelry, the destination is really about, are we sending them to collection pages? Are we sending them to PDPs? Are we sending them to dedicated landing pages even, which I think a lot of fashion brands don't do a lot of. What we need to decide when it comes to fashion and jewelry brand, is it a product or a collection page? Okay. The rule is desire shaped. So if the ad built desire for one specific piece, then obviously we would want to send that click to the product page because we don't want friction. We don't want them to be scrolling. Okay. But if the ad maybe sold a look or sold a feeling, a mood, a new drop, styling of pieces together, then the click goes to the collection because product paging will obviously break the direction of maybe her wanting to shop and see multiple pieces. I feel that when we audit a lot of fashion brands and jewelry brands, it's just like like they pick one and then they just kind of stick to it and that's it. They don't really, audit their destinations. They don't really think about the ad and where they want to be sending it. And I think that's super, super important to be doing on a weekly basis. We audit our landing pages on a week basis for our fashion and jewelry clients to be like, did this make an impact sending them to here? Or what is the conversion rate from here? And what do we need to change, essentially? This is decision 2. Potentially, you won't be able to do this all the time. But can you match the model to the model on the website? Again, you may not be able to do this all the time. I totally understand it. Or whether in the, when you land on a fashion or jewelry site, potentially have those scroll through imagery of different people wearing it. Can it be one that is also from the ad? I feel like this sounds tiny, but it's really not, because when someone sees an ad, they clicked on the ad because they liked the person in the ad, how they were styling it, maybe their body, maybe their skin tone, maybe their hair. So I feel like if they land on a page, especially where there's potentially only like a ghost mannequin or one picture from your photo shoot, there's a big disconnect as well. Because remember, they loved the imagery they saw in the ad and you want to continue that on from the destination. And this also comes in with creators. So for example, we worked with a jewelry brand where we started creating creator landing pages. I don't know what the terminology actually would be that. So for example, if you're working with creators and you've got them styling different pieces, they would then go to like a Jane collection where the pieces that were styled in there are there. The pictures would be of the creator as well. You could call this Jane's edit, Jane's collection, whatever it is. And again, it really bridges that whole gap from seeing a creator wearing it, going to a page where there's just like a product imagery and not feeling this connection or want post-click. Again, you would want to be testing a lot of this. You want to be testing like PDPs. I still think there is definitely a way of having strong PDPs in fashion and jewelry. Again, it's having the imagery from the ad potentially on there, adding in more creative or styling post scroll as well or in the imagery, and then start playing around with your collection pages and your PDPs and your creator edits or collections or whatever you want to call it. So it's really important. What I want you to identify in this episode is that Meta is not just looking at your ad, it's looking at your post-click experience. It's scanning that. And the page can then, make or break your ad essentially. And Meta is watching this. So I want you to go into your Shopify and audit your conversion rates per pages and then go through all your ads and really identify, can I change up the destination that I have got here or can I look at improving it? And of course, if you're a skincare or beauty or fashion or jewelry brand and you want me to audit your landing pages, I'm more than happy to. You can book a call with me and we can run through it together. Otherwise, jump into my DMs at Made Marketing Podcast. I was like, forgot my own handle then. And let me know your feedback about this episode. I would really love to know whether you found it valuable and if you want me to go into a deep dive around it.